Apologies, my name is VTR and welcome back to another movie review. And today, it's been a while since I reviewed something this bad. Or a bit, I don't know how long it's been, but I know that I haven't talked about a bad movie in a while. But let's go ahead and talk about this. The Nightmare on Elm Street 2010. Oh my goodness, I have been dreading this movie for so long. I have been dreading it for so long. Alright. Let's go ahead and get into this, though. Let's do the synopsis. Teenagers Nancy, Quentin, Chris, Jesse, and Dean are all neighborhood friends who begin having the same dream of a horrible, disfigured man who wears a tattered sweater and a glove made of knives. The man, Freddy Krueger, terrorizes them in their dreams, and the only escape is to wake up. But when one of the number dies violently, the friends realize that what happens to them in their dreams. Okay, yeah, it's the plot of the original and done so much worse. This movie is literally the plot. This movie is literally the plot of the first film, and done worse. They recreate shots. They slander characters. There's pretty bad acting, and oh my goodness, let's start with Freddy Krueger himself. I do not have a huge problem with the guy that plays him, because obviously Robert Englund was pretty old, and even at that is and everything, and I'm pretty sure at this point he was retired from playing the character. I'm pretty sure. Like he straight up said, I don't want to play the character anymore. The guy that plays him now, Jackie Earl Haley, I think that's how you say that, did an all right job with what he was given. But where the problem with his version of Freddy Krueger I have isn't even the actor's fault. It's the makeup. I know they were trying to go for more a realistic burn victim, but it's so ugly and hard to look at, and it's such a bad design. Like, this movie has a terrible design of Freddy Krueger. Like, and don't get me started on the fact that this is the version of Freddy Krueger that is used in Dead by Daylight. And like, here's the thing. Another thing that's terrible about this movie is this Nancy is not Nancy. This is not Nancy Thompson. It's Thompson, right? If I haven't met, this is the last name, I hope. But this is not. That's not Nancy. She does not even capture a slight of what Heather Langenkamp did in the original. Like, it's bad. Like, it's very bad. A lot of the acting is horrendous. It does CGI for a lot of the cool effects that were done in the original, that were done practically, that look a lot better back in the 80s than they do here. Like, I am not kidding you. This movie looks atrocious with the CG they use. And don't get me started on the changing of Freddy's mythos, where he's not just a child murderer, but because it's explicitly made clear in this one, he was more than a murderer. He was bad. I don't even want to say it. He was a predator. And it's, oh my goodness, it's disgusting at everything. And the fact that they play up this storyline at one point, like, oh, maybe Freddy was actually innocent and everything. I'm like, why are you're giving us this storyline about him being a predator as well as a child murderer, but then also trying to throw us like, oh, maybe he didn't do it and he was innocent. Spoiler, he did do it. But they try to put that, oh, maybe he did. Like, bruh, it is so uncomfortable in some scenes. And like, none of the characters are enjoyable to watch. And there's no creative sequences except for one. There is one sequence where she's going like in and out of the dream world in this grocery store. And it is one of probably the coolest and the only good thing about this film I liked. But everything else is a rehash or a horrible slandering of characters, and like, this movie is just terrible. Like, it's I don't mean I thought it's one of the worst remakes I have ever seen. And from when literally the Friday the 13th remake that I reviewed a while ago was not that bad. It wasn't really bad at all. I actually liked it. This movie, though, oh my goodness, it's one of the worst remakes, if not the worst remake of a horror classic I have ever seen. I have given every remake of a horror franchise that I've seen benefit of the doubt before I watched it. Rob Zombie's Halloween, which I didn't hate. Child's Play, which I also didn't hate. Friday the 13th, I also didn't hate. But this movie, I can genuinely say I hated it. Like, it was so hard to sit through. I watched this with a group of friends, and when the credits rolled, I was like, I literally out loud said, well, that was the biggest piece of garbage I've ever seen, or it was something like that. It is so bad. It is so bad. And the few times I think there are some practical effects, they look all right, but like, all of that is underplayed by all the CGI and it's just so bad. Like, it's not even a fun bad. Like, one of my big issues is like, it's telling the same exact story the original did, just with changing and tweaking at some tiny things. And here's the thing, I don't hate remakes. Like, I don't. That's the reason why I look at some things and say, like, oh, I can see how the people like this and everything. But like, this is one of the worst kind of remakes, where it's basically telling me everything I already knew, not adding anything of value except for one cool creative scene, and everything they do, something that they do add, makes me hate the movie even more, because it is such, it makes the character even more horrible than he already is. And it's, I don't know, I can't, it was hard to sit through this movie. Like, it was a hard movie to sit through. Like, I can't even, like, it was so bad. Like, like, this movie is actual garbage. And critics give this a 14% on Rotten Tomatoes, and audiences give it a 43. That 43 needs to be lower. It needs to be lower than that. But, oh my goodness, this movie sucked. This movie sucked. And I'm going to give it, and I rarely ever give this rating out, and the only reason why it gets this is because that one scene that I liked, it gets a 1 out of 5. I rarely dish out that rating. This movie is terrible. Don't watch it. Like, if you really want to see how bad it is, go ahead, but it is awful. It is. If you want to watch this movie, go watch the original. You're going to have a lot more fun with the original than you will with this. And oh my goodness, it's Oh, and I don't feel bad for anyone. This is their introductory to the franchise. This franchise has had some bad movies, but this is the worst. Like, if I had to rank every single one of the Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street movies, which I think would be a fun video. Anyway, this would be at the bottom of all of it. This is worse than the worst of freaking Friday the 13th. There's no charm. There's no creativity. Everything that worked so well in the 80 in the original that they try to bring back here, that it pales in comparison because it's so bad, looks so much more fake than it did in the 80s. Like, it's insane. And I can't stand this movie. I genuinely cannot stand it. It's bad. It's bad written. Like, it's just... It's garbage. It's absolute garbage. Like, I don't know what else to say besides this movie is absolute garbage. But what do you guys think? Do you think it's good? I hope none of you think this movie's good. It is a garbage movie. And it has been a while since I have reviewed something that's this bad. Like I said, it's bad. It's a really bad movie. Like, I don't even know what else to tell you. I hope you guys enjoyed, though. Like, I was gonna bring back Veggie Krueger, my old character, for this review. And I didn't think that the effort was worth the effort. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.